Hey guys, Bob Bellamy here. I just had a couple table enhancements I wanted to share with you right quick. And then I also wanted to walk through a game that we're going to try at our next poker night. It's called Five Card Absolute. Some of you are familiar with this game. It's also called Red Black. It's a little bit different of a game. This is not based on poker hands. So I thought it'd be worth just walking through an example. We used to play it in Eric's basement many, many years ago. And therefore it's captured in our document on page 13, but we'll take a look at it. As far as the table goes, you'll see that across the top, made a few changes. I've gathered all of the pins together and just put them in a pile. We'll use those as needed. Those were primarily to support 222, 7.5, 27.5, where we need to keep track of how many times you've not taken a card, right? I wanted to put all those together to free up some real estate. Since I wanted to add a dealer button on top of each player's slot, so that now I can just deal Eric 2 cards. If I want to deal Eric 2 cards, and then I want to give Richard 3 cards, I can do so without having to otherwise drag cards over and drop them and accidentally click on it and all that sort of thing. So this should really streamline our draw games and our stud games. So queens and littles, especially, a lot of dealing to individual players, and then 7 stud, of course, also. All right, other thing you'll see is I've added a counter for each player, and I've done this in thinking mostly about the 5-card absolute game that we're going to take a look at. I suspect there'll be other uses for it, and it didn't cost any extra real estate. So we'll give it a try, see how it goes, right? So 5-card absolute, it's a draw game. And again, it's not based on poker hands, but it's actually based on card counts. So you're adding up all your black cards and you're adding up all your red cards, and you take the net difference of those, and that's the point total for your hand. And if we play it with a high-low split pot, for a high hand, ideally, you'd have all the same suit, and you'd have them all be really big. Right? So the best hand would be like 2 black aces, a king, a queen, and a 10. It doesn't matter if they're clubs or spades, as long as they're all black, they all add together, and you don't have any reds to subtract. So your highest point total possible in this game would be 52 points. On the low side, the ideal situation is that the sum of your blacks is the same as the sum of your reds. So the net difference would be 0, right? So your best low card, or low hand rather, in this game would be 0 points. Okay, so let's take a look at how this might play out, right? Plus I can use my new buttons. So here we go. We'll just do 3 players just to illustrate how it goes. So let's take a look at Bob's hand. Okay, he's got what, 28, no, I'm sorry, he's got 30 in blacks, and he's got 18 in reds. So it's got some potential, but some cards are offsetting each other. Brian will look at his hand, and I'm just going to do it this way to keep it simple. Brian's got 26 in reds and just 6 in blacks, so could be something that you could work with. And Eric would look at his hand. He's got a low count in reds of 9 and 2 big blacks. So there'd be a round of betting based on what you've got. And now you make a decision as to whether you want to try to get all of the same color, get that high hand, or if you want to try and navigate to get a really low total card count, right? So in my case, with those 3 big blacks, I would probably pitch the 8 and the king, the red ones, and hope to get 2 blacks, right? Brian, probably the same case, and he might even choose to keep that 2, since it won't subtract very much from his hand. Otherwise, he risks getting a bigger black. Or does he go for 2 reds? I don't know. For fun, we'll just do this for fun. We'll keep the 2 and see what happens. Probably not the right way, but we'll try it. And Eric, he's got 7 in reds and 20 in blacks. That's kind of a tough one. I wanted to illustrate the idea of a low hand. So maybe for fun, we'll keep the 9 in reds, and we'll keep one of the blacks, So right now, the point total on Eric's hand is 1, right? He's got 9 in reds and 10 in blacks. If he were to get like an ace of hearts, he'd be set, right? Because then he'd have 10 in reds and 10 in blacks, which would be 0. Or a low, anything, he might still be okay. Just for illustration, right? So Bob's going to take 2. Let's see what happens. 1, 2. He's hoping for 2 big black cards. So therefore, of course, he gets 2 big red cards instead. Nice. So 30 minus 16. So I'd have 14. Not what I wanted, right? Brian will say he's just going to take 1. Let's see what he did here. Hey, not bad, right? So now he's got what, 28, 34 in reds, minus 2 black. So he's got a pretty decent card count, right? He's got 32 total. Eric is trying to gun for a low. He's hoping for a little something, preferably a little red. And let's see what he did. Okay, not the best, right? So he's got 15 in blacks, and then he's got 9 in red, so he has 6. So then there's the final round of betting, right? I would obviously check. Brian would probably bet something, right? He's got decent high card count. Don't know if Eric would call or not, or raise or bluff or whatever, but you get the idea. So then we'd all show our hands, and this is where the card counter comes into play, right? So I'm looking good at first, and then you can see it kind of falls apart from there, right? So 30 minus 16, so I'd have 14 here. That way we can just more easily keep track of how many points did so-and-so have, right? Brian, we'll put his up here. He ended up pretty good, right? He's got 16, he's got 26. Let's say it's 34 minus 2, 32, okay? And I said for Eric, 15 minus the 9 would give him 6, which in this case would be the best low hand. So he'd get half the pot. Okay, so that's 5-card absolute with a high-low split. Got some other ideas for variations. Maybe we'll figure out another application for these counters, but thought it was worth a try, right? So looking forward to playing with you guys soon, and we'll give 5-card absolute a try, right? Okay, see you later.